Daddy, what's a normie?
Well, I reckon I don't know quite what a normie is, my son.
Well, gosh, Daddy, you don't know much, do you?
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
When the static of life fills your brain and the world seems a little too insane, just twist that dial, don't hesitate. There's a haven where good vibes await. Tune in and Take 12 for some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk, the music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, greetings one and all, and welcome to another fine episode of the world's oldest and original recovery talk and positive music radio station and podcast, the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show and the Take 12 Recovery Radio Podcast Network. Of course, joining us today from Raw Recovery and trudging together is Mr. Dion Miller from Colorado and Roger McDermott from Huntington Beach, California, fellow 12-stepper and came to believe recovery volunteer extraordinaire. Now listen, we do have a weekly whine because we know how much you enjoy my complaining. And of course, the topic this week, Daddy, what's a normie? All here at the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show.
Coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk, the music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, there you go. So, so the topic is, Daddy, what's a normie? There's a lot of discussion around this topic, usually tongue-in-cheek. But there's some, what would I say? I think there is some prideful, even haughty kind of classifications of, well, those normies. Or thank God I'm not a normie, or the spouse says, well, I'm a normie because I'm an Al-Anon or whatever. So we're going to talk about this whole normie thing today. So let's check in really quick. Roger, how you doing there, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm visiting you from Virginia, Falls Church, Virginia. I've been on the roads I left on, I've been gone about 8-9 days. So I was in South Carolina in Charleston, got to speak at 2 meetings down there. It was really awesome.
Yeah.
Flew in here on Saturday, and here I am going to Texas after this.
Wow, he's a traveling man. Dion, he's just a traveling guy.
You're traveling Wilbury there.
Yeah. Listen, because of different internet connections and problems that we don't understand on this end, you might be getting a bit of a hiss. We apologize for that. But we all three of us know that our wisdom and our love for you listeners far supersedes any kind of background noise that would try to interrupt the show.
Right.
Dion, how are you doing, buddy?
Not bad. Doing really well. Website's done. I can start taking clients. We're getting groups started here. Fun times with the grandkids, living life.
Give us your
I have no valid complaints.
There you go.
Boom.
Yeah, we had fun last week, Dion and I and Kat on valid complaints. Kat's out this week. She's not feeling well. She just pulled a 12-hour shift at her job. So she called in and said, is it okay if I don't come today? I said, well, are you kidding? Of course. So she's taking care of herself. Dion, give the listeners your website.
Trudgingtogether.org is usually the best place to find me. You can always email me at trudgingtogether@gmail.com. You can look for the Daily Trudge on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. It's hard to not find me. Heck, you can just put Trudging Together in Google and find me.
It'll pop up right there. Yeah.
Something will pop up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty easy to find.
Super.
Sorry to interrupt,
Uh-oh.
but sadly, it's time for the Monty Man's weekly whine, where he whimpers and whines about things he's powerless over. Blah, blah, blah.
Who was
Yeah.
that? I don't know, but I don't think she likes Monty much.
No, I think it's Cecil's third cousin, twice removed. What does that mean anyway? Twice removed. I don't know.
No.
Anyway, so okay, so three characters that I'm going to whine about today. The first one is church and meeting phonies. Now, I don't mean phony like you're fake. I'm talking about phonies as in your cell phone phonies. Okay. So church and meeting phonies are people that are texting or on their phones during a church service or a 12, like Roger doing, or a 12-step meeting or any meeting for that matter, Rotary Club, whatever, name your poison, when the focus should be on the speaker or what's happening within the room as the presenters present, and people are on their phones. And they're not on their phones because I'm shutting it down. They're on, I mean, you can look over and they've been on their phone for 20 minutes, during the church service or during the meeting.
Yeah.
That's
It's very annoying. Very annoying.
It's extremely rude.
Very rude.
The second group of people are phone drivers. You've run into these, right? It used to be, that guy is drunk. No, he's not drunk. He's on his phone. I have a friend whose significant other drives with her hands on the steering wheel and her phone in her hands, texting while she's steering with the baby in the back seat.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
But the most annoying, and this, I don't know if this probably isn't as dangerous as phone drivers, but the most annoying to me of all is phone walkers. These are people that are walking across the street, not even on a crosswalk, just across the street on their phone. They're oblivious to anything around them, and they're holding up traffic. They're not even looking up. You could honk and they wouldn't look up. Right? This happened to us the other day, and I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I guess we're on a driving break. We'll wait for this guy and his friends, and they're all on their phones. Every one of them. A little row. Remember the Partridge Family? In the beginning, the little cartoon, it had all the little partridge quail creatures walking across that's what it looked like. But they're like this, right? They're looking down, and they're walking across the street looking down with absolutely no awareness of what's going on around them whatsoever. Have you experienced any of this, either one of you guys?
Well, you can't avoid it. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You go out to a restaurant, look at a family. Either all of the family members or certainly all of the kids are on their phone, and they're probably seeing each other at the table. I mean, it's insane.
Yes. They're not talking with each other. They're texting each other.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, Dion, what about you? Do you have friends that do this?
Well,
Do you have people that...
you see it everywhere, even in Zoom meetings. You'll be in a Zoom meeting and half the people are turned this way.
Really?
Yeah, we're so easily distracted, and sure, we can walk and chew gum, but you can't type and think of somebody and listen to somebody.
No.
We go to groups so we can hear, so we can get the answers that we've been looking for.
And if you're too busy on your phone, when you speak, do you want people on your phone ignoring you, or do you want them to listen to what you have to say? This is just a matter, we're a little bit older though, so for us, it's a matter of respect.
Sure.
And we're big on that.
Yeah. Yep.
So I spoke, I had the privilege of speaking at a meeting a couple months ago, a local one, and somebody was on their phone. And I'll tell you what, it was all I could do to stop talking and just walk away from the lectern and walk over to them and say, is there something you'd like to share with the group?
Yeah, exactly.
I should have done it. I should have done it because I knew the audience and it would have went over well.
Yeah.
But I held my tongue. But, oh, yeah. So is that a valid complaint? I don't know. What are you going to do, right?
It's a valid observation, I'll tell you that.
It certainly is a valid observation. Now, if you let it ruin your day, then it's an invalid complaint, and it's probably
right.
something you need to work a step 10 on 11 on. Right, guys?
Yep.
I would agree. Yeah.
So these weekly whines, if they're knocking me off my center, it's really not valid. It's just...
Then it's your own problem.
Yeah.
If you let it knock you off center, that's your own problem.
But I'm anyway, yeah, so that's it. That's it. Let's close out the weekly wine. Let's see what she has to say.
Thank goodness that's over. Now we can get back to the show.
Yes, indeed. All right. Listen, have you ever felt stuck in your recovery? It's like, oh man, my life is meetings, and you're just bleh. Well, I got a great book for you. Let's get it in the center there. Dr. Alan Berger's book, 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety. If you're feeling stuck in your recovery, it may be because you're emotionally dependent. Certainly may not be emotionally sober. Find out what that's all about in this great book, Getting Your Recovery Unstuck, the 12 Essential Insights for Emotional Sobriety by our good friend and Take 12 Recovery Radio contributor, Dr. Alan Berger. You can get it on Amazon as well as abphd.com. So there you go. I have a couple of giveaways for the third email. This is the email address, take12, that's the number 12, take12radio@comcast.net. The book, Letting God In, One Alcoholic Talks to Another About AA's Step 4 by Mike D. Third email will get a copy of that. And the same author and his book, Basic Prayer and Simple Meditation, a recovering alcoholic talks about beginning spirituality. And we're going to send you both those books to the third email, take12radio@comcast.net, and say, I want my Mike D books. So if you are the third email, we're going to send them to you. But here's the key, guys. And somebody last week didn't do this, and they missed out. You got to send me your address. I know where to send it. I want my Mike D books, and then there's nothing in the email. So, yeah, please include your, and this has got to be within the U.S., by the way. All right. Okay, the topic. Daddy, what's a normie? So, Daddy, Mommy, Uncle Johnny, Grandpa, whatever, what in the world is a normie? So, I'm just going to be honest and upfront with you. I don't know that this is AA's take on this. I don't know. But what I did was, this is Chat GPT. So I went into Chat GPT just for the heck of it. And I'm not a Chat GPT guy, but I thought, let's see what it has to say, just out of curiosity. And it said, what is a normie? According to AA, this is what Chat GPT says, a normie is someone who does not experience addiction to any substance. This term is used to describe individuals who can drink and use drugs recreationally without an addictive or obsessive need for the substance. It is a non-derogatory term Is it? Employed within recovery circles to differentiate those who have battled addiction from those who haven't. The term normie is a shorthand to foster understanding and camaraderie amongst those in recovery, highlighting a shared experience absent in those who haven't faced addiction challenges directly. I don't know that really is AA's stance on
No.
that. I don't know that
No
they
way.
have. Is there? I don't know that there's a pamphlet that says to the normie. Have you guys seen anything that AA or even NA?
No.
I'm talking about the literature, not the fellowship.
I've
Has
never seen it.
declared who a normie is?
I never have.
Yeah.
It never says normie. It says normal drinkers, but it never refers to somebody as a
As a
normie.
normie.
Otherwise, we would consider that an outside issue and therefore none of our business. AA as a whole, that would be an outside issue.
So here's something a little fun. I typed in, hey, ChatGPT, write me a short poem about normies. And this is what it came back.
Oh my gosh.
This is what came back. They call themselves normal, steady and plain, blind to the cracks in their seamless refrain. But normal is only a mask they adorn, a costume of comfort too common, too worn.
Mm.
I
kinda
like
that.
it.
I like
Yeah.
that.
That is cool.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
So if you go by that poem there, nobody's a normie.
That's right.
Everybody's got something where the tail tends to wag the dog, right? Something.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's compulsive biting of the fingernails. Maybe it's overspending. Maybe it's gossip. Maybe it's something that is not beneficial to them that they have a very difficult time stopping on their own. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have never heard the term normie outside of the rooms or the AA or NA fellowship. I find it interesting that our topic, little Johnny, is asking Daddy what normie means. Unless Daddy's in the fellowship and Johnny's been exposed to recovery, a child would never ask that question because that's not a term that's used in the general public.
Correct.
Sure.
It's just not.
Daddy's probably bringing Johnny to the meetings. I do that with both my kids. And
Yeah, that'd be almost the only place you would hear that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was the only.
I don't
place.
know that it's a negative comment. I think it's just a comment that says these people do not have the addictive personalities that we have to
Absolutely.
alcohol and substance. They just don't.
Yeah.
They drink with impunity and we don't, and that we call a normie.
Yeah.
So if you look at, my wife, okay, so let me back up for a minute. So if somebody has terminal cancer and they're in a cancer support group and they go in for their treatment every week and their infusion and all that stuff. Hello?
United States calling. Are we reaching?
Hello? Yes, Mr. President. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm glad you cleared that up. You yourself say you're not the king, that Jesus is the king. Thank you. Okay. Just lost half the listeners.
Well done. That was
Like that.
That wasn't normie.
That was a normie joke.
Well, I do have another red hatch. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Okay. I got to regroup my focus here. Oh, okay. So somebody has cancer and they're doing they're very involved in their treatment and everything else. They're going to experience things, and I'm going to be a normie in that arena because I have no idea what cancer treatment is like. I may see it from the perspective of being a loved one of, but unless I'm actually experiencing it, I am not going to understand like they understand, right? And so in the case of my wife, Marcia, right, who has never had any kind of mind-altering substance other than maybe Tylenol PM in her life, right? For the longest time, it was hard for her to grasp the things that I was going through emotionally, mentally, and spiritually around
Sure.
alcoholism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then she picked up the book Codependent No More by Melody Beatty, and she found herself.
Yep.
And it caused her to throw the book across the room on several occasions because it was very hard for her to see.
Sure.
She was reading about her. She goes, I'm not a controlling person. She read this book. She goes, oh, maybe I am. And so then she became less of a normie in that arena, right? But so we would say, and I think you guys might agree with this. Let's see what you say. Not all codependents are alcoholics or addicts, but all alcoholics and addicts are codependent.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there is still a piece of my journey that Marsha will never get. And actually, there's a piece of her journey I want to understand because she's a woman. Oh, yes, she's a woman, he said. And I'm a guy. That's right. That's right. Brother. I can't help it.
It's all good.
I can't. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie Kirk. By the way, we had a winner last week. Mr. Tannenbaum won the Turning Point hat, the Charlie Kirk hat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we sent that out to them. Yeah, so I do think that it can be have negative connotations to it. By the way, I've heard people speak of normies in the rooms.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like I'm better than because they don't understand me. Therefore, they're a normie. They just don't get me. Why do they have to?
Yeah.
What? Who said they have to get you? You're the knucklehead.
Yeah.
Right?
There's always some kind of defiance. When I was 17 and drinking under a bridge around a big 50 gallon barrel with a fire in it, drinking, this was the thought process. There's nothing wrong with this bridge. It's the crack addicts down there. That's the bad bridge.
Oh.
See, it doesn't matter where you're at. We alcoholics always find some way to think we are better than others.
Yeah.
And I agree. Sometimes people take this. And then you'll hear people say, there's no such thing as normal. Normal is a cycle on your washing machine. What we're saying is normal drinkers. We're not saying, all these other things. Do they understand everything that I go through? No. And vice versa. I don't understand everything they go through. It'd be like me becoming a midwife. Probably wouldn't be the best at it.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I understand that limitation.
So, normal drinkers. Let's talk about that for a second, because the word normie or normal is in there. Next Monday, my guest is going to be, and his pen name is Jonathan Harrison. The reason he has a pen name is because he is so concerned about his personal anonymity, not just in the program, but for the sake of personal safety, because Jonathan Harrison is blowing the whistle on ethanol. And so he will tell you in his book called Alcoholics and Their Enablers, getting the screen there.
Yeah,
you got it. From this point forward, he says in this book, we will refer to alcohol as ethanol because that is what it is.
It is what it is.
And so every time you take a drink, even if you are what would be considered a normal drinker, right, you are drinking ethanol.
Yep.
You are drinking, it's processed differently, but you're drinking a toxic substance, a highly toxic substance. And so once we hope that once you know better, that you do better, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be a very interesting interview next week because this guy is blowing the whistle. He's blowing the cover off of some things, and there's going to be people that aren't going to like that because there's a lot of money to be made in the alcohol industry.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if there is such a thing as a normal drinker when you really consider the fact of what you're putting into your body. It has no health benefits at all. I mean, you could go to a congregation of people and say, how many people here have experienced personally or know somebody who has experienced a negative happening due to alcohol? And every hand will go up. Okay, how many here have experienced a positive happening due to alcohol? No hands go up. So, yeah. So I don't know if there is a such thing as a normal drinker. I mean, I know by definition this is a person who can drink with impunity and, you know, but if it's poisoning them and they're still doing it, isn't something wrong there with that picture?
Well, couldn't you apply that to everything? Sugar. I mean, you could talk
Yeah.
about everything that we eat in the same vein.
You
Why
could.
is alcohol unique? It's the same.
Is it because the consequences from it scream louder, quicker? Maybe?
That's what I was going to kind of bring up.
Well, sure.
Is
But
that's
that's
where it
not a
becomes
normal
different.
drinker, correct?
Right.
Yeah. See, for me, once I take the first drink, any choice is gone.
Right.
I no longer have a choice.
You lose the power.
I
of
don't
choice.
know how many I'm going to drink. I don't know who's going to take me home. I don't know if I'm going to be in jail. Where a normal drinker's like, I'm half done with this. I'm ready to go home. But they still have control over whether they're going to take the next drink. And I think that's kind of the difference right there. Because of course, is opinion because we haven't proven it yet. But I believe that I was born with this disease. This wasn't something that happened over time.
Yeah, it's
So-
certainly the whole genetic component certainly leans way more towards that. This is a genetic thing and not a
Sure.
learned behavior or something you develop. I mean, there's more professionally, medically, and certainly within the rooms. There's more of a leaning towards you're either an alcoholic or you're not. You don't develop drinking too much. Somewhere in your lineage, there's alcoholism, and it can skip generations. You know, and there's different levels of alcoholism, right?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so just like cancer, there's different, levels of it. But I think I'm with you. I think there's something in your DNA that, in the case of a narcotic addict, it would be different. You can develop addiction to narcotics. You can become a narcotic addict by using narcotics. You don't become an alcoholic by drinking alcohol. You either are or you're not. I mean, that's my opinion.
Absolutely. But our opinions are based off experience. I've done hundreds of interviews where somebody was adopted. They went to a great family.
Yeah.
Right. But they were still an alcoholic because the parents were. And, because usually that's a lot of times why they come up for adoption. Drugs and alcohol are involved and the kid can't go there. So they go to an adoption agency.
Sure.
And even then you can see it. What I tell people is, I came out of the womb playing 3-card Monty. I've just always been a shyster.
3-card Monty.
Just naturally. So, and here's Monty. Monty.
With only 3 cards in the deck.
And they're all jokers.
And they're all jokers.
And the how to play 5-card stud. That card too.
So Roger, you have, is it your daughter that owns a restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah. Does she serve different wines at the restaurant?
Wines, and I think they serve beer, but mostly wine.
Okay. So in your experience, if you were to walk into her restaurant and, I mean, not, even though you don't know the person, but you saw the average customer, maybe they're doing a wine tasting or something, or having a glass of wine with dinner. For the most part, would you say that if you followed that person home, more than likely there probably isn't an issue? More than likely.
My observations would be at restaurants similar to that one, that the people that frequent those are not alcoholic.
Yeah.
We have a way, a way of acting at a table with drinks that is not quote unquote routine or normal.
Yeah.
These people, if they have a glass of wine, they may not even finish it. And it's
Right.
usually because the menu suggests certain wines with certain meals. It's kind of a fine dining place. And so I don't know about you and me or Dion, but when we were in it and going for it, we weren't going to fine dining establishments
No.
to drink. We just weren't. And,
No.
so yeah, my observations at places like my daughters and others would be, no, they're not alcoholic.
Yeah.
I would suspect that those, at least I'm going to say dysfunctional alcoholics, and that isn't saying that alcoholics, there's any functional ones, but the ones where it hasn't bit them yet, or the consequences aren't screaming and people may not even know, they may not even know. I'm talking about the people that it's obvious there's a problem, is probably the minority compared to the majority of human beings on the planet. That most people are not raging alcoholics. Most people.
Correct.
That drink
Yeah.
I'm talking about. That drink.
Yeah. It's usually the person that has to get up 3-4 times to go to the bathroom, but is actually going to the bar for an extra shot.
Yeah.
That's usually
There's a story that I tell, and I can't remember if I read it in one of Dr. Berger's books or where I
I
heard
remember
it.
the story. Yeah.
The story about the guy that they go to, him and his wife go to the same restaurant every week. They go to the same restaurant. And one day she decides she wants to go to a different one, and he's livid. Well, the reason is because he had mapped out his little routine where he would go, he'd get up, he'd order a drink, and then he'd get up and he'd go to the restroom, right? And while he was at the restroom, he had this path laid out where he could pass the bar without his wife seeing it. And he would order a drink, he'd down it, and then go to the restroom, right? And then come back, order another one, down it. And then by the time he got back down to his table, his first order was ready.
Yeah.
Right. And
Now
then
you're on
he'd have
third
2 or
drink.
3 of those. And his wife's trying to figure out, why is he acting so weird? Right. Well, he had this whole thing planned out, this routine of drinking. Right? And when they went to another restaurant, his map's gone.
Yeah.
He has no way to do that. And he's freaking.
Yeah.
That is not a normal person.
That is,
No, it's not.
there's nothing normal about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're always pre-game. Even when I went to the bar, I had shooters in my pocket.
Oh my gosh. That just reminded me.
I take like a fifth in with me and order just cheap beer, and then
So on Hagenberger Road in the East Bay in California, there used to be a Sambo's restaurant. You guys remember Sambo's?
Oh gosh, yeah.
yeah.
There was a Sambo's restaurant, and right next door there was a kind of a seedy nightclub, right?
Okay.
And me and my buddy went in there, and you know those shot glasses that are really big? They hold like 3 shots in them,
Yep.
and the glass is really heavy, right? I had the bartender pour me a Wild Turkey filled with that. I've been wearing shorts since I think I came out of the womb wearing shorts. I had a pair of Boy Scout shorts on, and I stuck in the mouth to that glass is like this big. Listeners, if you can't see on video, it's really big. And I stuck it in my pocket. So I'm walking to Sambo's because now we're going to get food because we're drunk and hungry, right?
Yep.
And the thing is sloshing around in my pocket, right? So when you said that, it brought back memories of that, John. And by the time we got into Sambo's, most of it had sloshed out, right?
Yeah.
But at least I had some of it, right?
That's
Drunk
really
and
sick,
hungry.
Rocky.
What's that, Roger?
That's really sick.
It is, right? If I could have gotten away with one in each pocket, I probably would have.
Yeah.
But normal drinkers don't do that.
No,
No,
you wouldn't even think of that.
No.
because they'd be like, why would I want to do that? Then my
Right?
pants would be
Mess
wet.
up my shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't care about the consequences. We just got to get
Oh,
it
we
in our
don't.
body, you know. And
Exactly.
I was planning the future of my evening. I was just planning ahead, man. Come on, give me a break. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. I don't know that there's too much more to say about this, other than the fact that I think we all know somebody who supposedly can have a drink and not have an issue with it,
Sure.
other than their own physical health. And I think listeners, those of you who may not be alcoholic and may not struggle with alcohol at all, but you have an occasional drink, you may want to listen to next week's show. It may change your viewpoint about it. Alcoholics and their enablers discover the science behind lasting sobriety. We know the science behind lasting sobriety, don't we, guys?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting show tomorrow. So this has been a quick show. So we got a great song I'm going to tell you about here in a minute. Closing thoughts, Roger. You first.
Well, I think the normie that we're referring to is, in my mind, is always in the context of the rooms of recovery. And we talk about the people that are not in the rooms as being normies, and we always kind of attach comical comments to it, like, because we're not normies, and somehow we wear that as a badge of merit. You know, it's like,
Yep.
no, we're not like them. We're
Right.
anyway. It makes for a fun chat, but normal is an interesting word. If you look up the definition, it talks about being in agreement with standards and principles and things like that. Something that's not out of what one would call normal.
Right.
Yeah. I think normie's a fun term.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is kind of a fun term. Dion, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Roger. It's something that, stays in the rooms, and we all kind of know what we're all talking about. Maybe just a little repeating from the big book here. The idea that you are like your normal folks has to be smashed. We are bodily and mentally different from our fellows, but that also gives you a superpower that your fellows do not have, which is you can help when no one else can.
Ooh.
Man,
Ooh. That's good.
that is good.
Thank you.
The Monkey Man. That's actually where all that came from.
And now your closing comments, Monty.
Yeah. If you think don't drink and go to meetings is going to move you into a position of being recovered, you are sadly mistaken. Because if you could have, you would have.
And you should have.
Yeah. Now, a normal person or a person that doesn't have any issues, they're going to benefit. A lot of people benefit by going to 12-step meetings just by taking principles that are in the 12 steps and applying them to their lives. I've taken some of the principles in the 12 traditions and applied those in my personal life, and it's been great, particularly in the area of finances. But the 12-step process, really, which is very biblical in its nature, is going to benefit anybody. But they were originally set up right to really benefit the guy or gal who's powerless over alcohol and wanted to change and wanted to develop a relationship with their creator. And so there you go. If that's what you're looking for and you think that you may have a problem here, this cracks me up. There's a commercial on TV once again about a pill, right? If you'd like to slow down your drinking, or you think you may have a problem with drinking, here's this pill. That might work for the alcohol abuser, but it probably won't work for the alcoholic, the person who's powerless over it. Right. But if you think you might have an issue, I would encourage you to go to aa.org and look at the meeting directory and find a meeting in
Yeah.
your area and start out by walking in. You will be
Yeah.
welcomed by the majority of people. I say the majority because some of them are so new they don't even know how to look at it.
Yeah, they don't know.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And you can start your journey at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay. So in honor of Charlie Kirk, who if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, and you may not know what happened, of course, he was assassinated here not too many weeks back. And I'm not going to get into all the reasons and the politics and all that, but here's a man who was not afraid to share his faith, who was not afraid to share his principles and standards about what being an American is. And just a powerful influence on so many who never met him personally, right? When this happened to him, when he was killed, I wasn't sure why. I think I know now, but it affected me emotionally in a way that I've seen other people die. I've seen heard of other people that I admired pass away, and it didn't hit me like this did. And I think the reason that it did was because we saw somebody in our own lifetime being martyred for the cause of Christ. And I think because of our connection with God and his connection with God, it really, really hit home. One of the people that never met Charlie is a country western singer by the name of Aaron Loy. And Aaron has written this song. It is called Thank God for the Man I Never Met. Here's Aaron.
I didn't get to shake his hand or see him face to face, but he felt just like a good old friend, made the world feel the same. He paid the price to speak his mind, sharing faith, the light and truth. Now I'm crying for a hero, gone way too soon. No, I never felt like this before. This fiery lit inside me, I can't ignore. So I'm picking up my Bible, I'm putting down my phone, and getting right with Jesus, with more peace in my soul. He left a mark on my heart, I never will forget. I thank God for the man I never met. If he were here, I already know what he'd say to me. Pick up your cross, drop your stones, love your enemies. So I'm gonna do the best that I can, make my brother proud, and for him take a stand. So I'm picking up my Bible, I'm putting down my phone, and getting right with Jesus, with more peace in my soul. He left a mark on my heart, I never will forget. I thank God for the man I never met. This world and me won't ever be the same. I know he's looking down with a big smile on his face. 'Cause I'm picking up my Bible, I'm putting down my phone, and getting right with Jesus, with more peace in my soul. He left a mark on my heart, I never will forget. I thank God for the man I never met.
Thank God for the man I never met, Aaron Loy. Okay, listen, coming up on Wednesday, here just in a couple days, on the Came to Believe Recovery podcast, the topic is going to be binging food, Netflix, etc., etc. Binging will be the topic on Wednesday's show. And then on next Monday, of course, will be my interview with Jonathan Harrison, author of Alcoholics and Their Enablers. All right, until our next broadcast, this is the Monty Man, along with Dion and Roger and the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's perfect serenity for each and every one of you.
Don't let the weights of the past keep you down. There's a melody here to turn it around. In each story and song you'll find a friend, a chorus of courage that'll never end.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.